Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Saturday, December 30th. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Akron game is in 245 days. Going to have to get used to saying that. The game against Michigan in 336 days. The 2023 Ohio State football season is dead. Long live the 2024 Ohio State football season. Buckeyes wrapped up their 2023 season with a little bit of a thud in the Cotton Bowl. They lost 14-3 to Missouri. Definitely one of the weirder Ohio State games I can remember. It was one where it was a little disjointed from the start, change on the offensive line, different quarterback starting, and then the game, it sort of started off a little raggedy, and then as soon as Devin Brown went down with an injury, it was like, oh, okay, this is going to be how that goes.
Yeah, I've been looking for past games to try and find comparisons, and I think I have to kind of Frankenstein it a little bit. It felt in some ways like the championship game against Florida when Ted Ginn Jr. was tackled by Roy Hall. And, oh, by the way, we really leveraged everything in how we were going to use Ted Ginn Jr. But with that being said, Ted Ginn Jr., was a known commodity, whereas Devin Brown was an unknown commodity largely. And it felt as if they put really all the eggs in that basket, and then you have to bring in Lincoln Kienholz, who not only had few reps, probably had like no reps, and he was ineffective for a large part of the game. And we go to the fourth quarter with Ohio State still leading the game 3-0. And fine, yes, Missouri scored, I think, on the first offensive play of the fourth quarter, but through 3 quarters, the defense held. And there are going to be people who are going to point out that Ohio State gave up a pair of 90-plus yard drives in the fourth quarter, but that's not where the problems start.
Yeah, and I think it's worth pointing out that putting in Lincoln Kienholz, it was the right move. Very clearly the right move. Devin Brown, he was 4 of 6 for 20 yards, was 3 runs for negative 12 yards. That was the extent of his day. But he was very clearly compromised and very clearly just a sitting duck back there. His legs are a big part of his game. As soon as he got hurt, it was just, that was it.
And you can't even drive the ball if your legs are bad.
Right, yeah. It was very clearly the right decision to pull him. But at that point, you've got a true freshman who was not in for the spring, who played his high school football in a small schools in South Dakota, so you're not playing SEC and Big Ten level competition, and who only got a little taste of the field this fall. So that's really an unfair position to put Lincoln Kienholz in. You can look at his stat line and go, well, that's not very good, but it's an unfair position to put him in. And he talked after the game about the fact that this is something that's going to make him better. Having, he said it was kind of cool to be out there. It's like, all right, well, this is. I don't think he was necessarily expecting to be thrown into the first half of that game, but that's a memorable day for him, and this is a learning experience for him. And the offensive line he was playing behind was not great. They had a change on the offensive line, and the change did not suddenly turn this into a better offensive line.
Yeah, what was not cool for Lincoln Kienholz? That final strip sack where he got Malachi crunched and gave the ball up, and they looked to see if maybe he threw a pass there, and he didn't. It was absolutely a fumble. But, the offensive line struggled mightily. Matt Jones moves to center. Enoch Vamahi comes into the lineup at guard. Carson Hinsman, it appears, maybe had developed a little bit of a case of the yips, and it was just not working out at that point. That doesn't mean that Hinsman's journey as a Buckeye is done by any stretch of the imagination. It just meant that he wasn't really in a position to play today. People are going to say, obviously the line was not working out. You had 3 quarters to figure that out. Why didn't you make a change? To who exactly? To who? There are a lot of things that could be said about the coaches not getting this or not getting that, but they are fully aware that stuff was not working there, and the fact that they did not have a solution, I don't think was out of sheer stubbornness or ignorance or anything like that. I just think it was a matter of them not having the pieces necessary to succeed there, and that is a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem, and that's a problem. The good news, we were asked on our post-game show, is there any reason for hope for 2024? And the reason for hope for 2024 is, you know where your holes are right now. You at home know where the holes are right now. Ohio State probably has a pretty good sense for where the holes are. And if not, they can just check Twitter or check our message board, and people will let them know.
Just ask us.
Yeah, just ask us. It has never been easier to fix holes. You just need to go out and bring guys into the portal. Free agency has come to college football, and in some ways people don't particularly like that, and I understand that. But also, if you're a big brand team with more resources than just about anyone else in the sport, you can fix your problems. So that's not necessarily... the 2024 season is far from doomed. There is quite a bit of smoke around former Kansas State quarterback Will Howard already in the transfer portal, potentially being connected to Ohio State. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if they pursue some offensive linemen. We'll see who comes back from that defense. Because boy, oh boy, that defense was good for a huge chunk of that game before they really kind of wore down in the fourth quarter. You still, even after the 2 90-yard drives, gave up 4.7 yards per play to Missouri, 3.8 yards rushing to Missouri, and for a huge chunk of the game, Missouri was running for basically nothing. Brady Cook was absolutely running for his life most of the game. Ohio State finished
because of Mr. Jack Sawyer, among others.
Ohio State finished with 6 sacks. Jack Sawyer, 3 sacks. JT Tuimoloau 1. Jordan Hancock 1. Ty Hamilton 1. 8 tackles for loss. That was I feel like for 4 years since Chase Young left, we've been talking about the fact that, the Ohio State defensive line just doesn't get to the quarterback. And, you can have a good performance without getting to the quarterback, but it's been like 4 years of, this team just doesn't quite get to the quarterback. Boy, howdy, they got to the quarterback.
No, they absolutely did. And let's not forget, Missouri had a semifinalist team for the Joe Moore Award that goes to the nation's top offensive line. So this wasn't like they were going against the Vanderbilt offensive line and that this was a known weakness for Missouri. No, it was a known strength for Missouri, how well their offensive line played. I mean, they did get knocked around a little bit against some of the better teams they played. Ohio State obviously was able to knock them around a little bit. But the thing that was not there was, okay, Ohio State has got itself in trouble, but we know that they can flip a switch and have a 21-point quarter. I don't know how many quarters Ohio State would have had to play to get 21 points. I'm thinking we're at least double digit. At least double digit. And even for the couple of good plays they had offensively, then they were followed up by bad plays. And you just can't have those types of killers. And Missouri did not respect Ohio State's ability to throw the ball, was putting 8, 9, 10, 20 guys in the box. And I'm sure there are going to be people who are going to be critical of Trevion Henderson and guys like that. But when you're getting contacted 3 yards, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, not at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, there's not much that you can do. But I haven't even really had a chance, as we are recording this show, to replay the game in my mind. The replay on the TV, I don't know when I'm going to be ready for that one. But replay it on my mind, and we said, we're not going to do our longest morning show, and I'm going to wind Tom up, and I'm the one who wants to leave the most. But what the hell did we watch on special teams?
Nothing is the answer. You watch, it's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. You have your kick return game is stand there and watch the ball sail over your head. Your punt return game is fair catch it. Your punt block, in a game where you don't have an offense, functionally, for huge stretches of the game, because of all the factors you talked about. Offensive line was a big problem, which makes the run game a problem, which makes the pass game impossible. Plus, you got a true freshman quarterback. So you got all this stuff. The offense, for reasons that are probably someone's fault and for reasons that are not somebody's fault, was not a factor. The defense was spectacular for 3 quarters for the most part, and then eventually wore down. There is a third phase of the game where if your offense is not doing anything, you can make a game-changing play in special teams. Now, Rutgers did that in the Pinstripe Bowl. Now, it helps that Miami is coached by a bunch of morons and had put 9 players out on a punt. So Rutgers was able to block a punt for a touchdown, and that was the winning score of the game. That is the thing you can do. You can try something on special teams.
No.
I mean, the fake punts haven't worked great recently, so maybe not that. But you could maybe try and block a punt. You could maybe try returning a kick. You have incredible skill talent. You could do that. That's a thing you could try. It feels like that's something that you might consider doing at some
Well, I
point.
think all of that has to be there. And in all of this talk about how bad special teams was, special props to Jesse Mirko, who had himself a fantastic day at punting the ball. That's good and bad in some ways because he had plenty of time and plenty of attempts because the Ohio State offense was so bleh in the game that he was able to punt the ball a blank ton. So I'm flabbergasted that it had gotten to that point. We were through signing day. Things need to be addressed.
Yeah, and Ryan Day during the postgame was asked, not directly, so you're going to fire some of the people on your staff, but sort of asked, maybe...
You're going to fire some of the people on your staff?
Essentially, yeah, the subtext was pretty clear there. And, said, going to basically evaluate everything. Everything is going to be looked at. And so I think it's going to be telling to see what gets changed, how much gets changed. Is it little changes? Does it feel like it needs to be little tweaks? Or do you maybe need to make some big sweeping changes? That's going to be one of the things that we're going to be keeping an eye on over the next month or so, probably talking about a little bit over the next month or so at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Also probably going to be talking quite a bit about Ohio State players headed to the NFL, maybe not headed to the NFL. Marvin Harrison didn't play in the Cotton Bowl. Obviously, he is headed off to the NFL.
He wouldn't have helped.
Yeah, I think that might have helped a little bit, but he
can he play guard?
Well, he can't solve all their problems. He might have solved some of their problems, but you've got no Marvin Harrison next year. Jack Sawyer was asked in his post-game interview, and boy, sort of you can go back and watch the show or the full interview, the post-game press conference on our YouTube channel, and you can draw your own conclusions there. But it's safe to say it sounds like a number of Ohio State players on the defense are thinking strongly about coming back. So we'll see how that all shakes out. We'll see how the potential transfer portal news coming soon might shake out for Ohio State. A whole bunch more stuff. It's going to be a very busy month or so as the transfer window, no longer just for international soccer, now in college football. Going to be a fascinating time at Buckeye Huddle as we try to sort all that stuff out. And Ohio State heads into what is going to be the first year of the brand new college football in 2024. There is a lot of change coming. Tomorrow's morning show, recorded that early because we're going to be traveling. You're going to hear some really, really interesting stuff from Eli Drinkwitz and Ryan Day from the press conference before the game. They had really, really interesting answers. One of them is about Eli Drinkwitz talking about all the reasons it's great to give up play calling. That's going to be another story we're going to be talking about quite a bit at BuckeyeHuddle.com over the next month or so, but also some big picture stuff in terms of the transfer portal and the future of the sport and all that kind of stuff. It is going to be a very big and very different year in college football in 2024. We can't wait to share it with you at BuckeyeHuddle.com and at YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.